how much of an influence do you think your experience with high intensity training, shout out to Mike Mentzer, Arthur Jones, Casey Viator, you've talked about this a lot on your channel, it's a hot topic. How much of that, with respects to recovery and rest days, do you think that helped you to understand the importance of recovery, training that hard, that intensely, and being okay with, hey, I'm just going to take an extra rest day if I really need it. But why don't you tell us? Because I think that'll be interesting for the listeners.
Yeah, I think it's, like you said, it's a hot topic. And I think it's a hot topic more so because people like to identify with a certain aspect of training or a certain style of training. I think the value in high intensity training is absolutely learning how to push your body to its limits, because obviously, like I said, hard work is always going to be the prerequisite, and you're going to make progress training hard, provided that you can recover, come back and do it again. Right. But to get the most out of any training system, whether it is HIIT or whether it's high volume, you have to, like I mentioned, you have to be self-aware. Okay, am I getting better because of this? Is my recovery being negatively impacted from this? And a lot of people will totally forget about that. I don't know if forget about it's the right word, but people will look the other way when talking about HIIT training because they love that style of training. And they say you have to train this way to get results. When in reality, if they scaled back a little bit, they might make better progress. And that's what I found early on when I was experimenting with HIIT training. That was the type of training that resonated with me originally when I first started training. So naturally, I was drawn to it. I love training hard still to this day. Like I said, if I wasn't going to get injured, if it wasn't going to set me back, every single time I go in the gym, I would just train as hard as physically possible because I actually enjoy that. But what I found for me was when I would do that, let's say I would go in and do a high intensity like leg day, every set to failure, sometimes even doing beyond failure on rest pause sets, things like that on some machines and other exercises. I would be so drained from that workout that if I tried to train anything the next day or maybe even 2 days later, let's say it was chest or let's say it was, back or something like that, my nervous system would be so fried that I would have to take off 2, 3, or even 4 days before I felt strong enough to train again. And now you kind of lose the frequency. And even though my legs are recovering, my back or my chest was able to be trained, but I didn't have that energy. I didn't have that. I was carrying way too much fatigue that it made the program inefficient for me, and not to say that somebody else can't get great results using that approach, but you have to tie all these things in together. Okay. You have the stimulus, you have recovery, and then you have your training volume, your training frequency. And if one of them is such a strong stimulus that it's negatively impacting all the other ones, you're missing out on all these other variables that can help you grow, so you have to balance all these things. Some people will get away with training that way and still be able to recover and grow, but it might not necessarily be the reason that they're growing. So what I mean by that is some people just have a higher tolerance for fatigue. We all know people that can sleep 3-4 hours a night, get up the next day and perform at 100%. I'm not one of them. If I don't sleep for 8 hours, my whole day is shot. So just because you can get away with that doesn't mean it's better. And I think a lot of people that get away with that type of training might do just as well on another approach, but because they enjoy it, it works for them. So I definitely think there's an element of enjoying what you're doing that's important. Obviously, the more you enjoy a program, the better it's going to be for you. But what I learned from that is that I can bury myself in a session. Some people don't have that ability. So a lot of people might do a program like that, say they think they're training to failure. Maybe they're leaving 1 or 2 reps in the tank. And they say, I could recover just fine from that. But I do a workout like that, on paper, it says go to failure. And I will go literally, I remember going in the gym and training until I would squat in that bar. I would have to have the catchers up in the squat rack. And if that bar didn't pin me down, to me, I didn't reach failure. Most people aren't doing that. So there's a big difference between the type of recovery that workout will require versus stopping 1 or 2 reps shy of failure.